Sure, said George. We kinda look after each other. He indicated Lenny with his thumb. He ain't bright. Heck of a good worker, though. Heck of a nice fella, but he ain't bright. I've knew him for a long time. Slim looked through George and beyond him. Ain't many guys traveled together, he mused. I don't know why. Maybe everybody in the whole darn world is scared of each other. It's a lot nicer to go around with a guy you know, said George. A powerful, big-stomached man came into the bunkhouse. His head still dripped water from the scrubbing and dousing. Hi, Slim, he said, and then he stopped and stared at George and Lenny. These guys just come, said Slim by way of introduction. Glad to meet you, the big man said. My name's Carlson. I'm George Milton. This is Lenny Small. Glad to meet you, Carlson said again. He ain't very small. He chuckled softly at his joke. Ain't small at all, he repeated. Meant to ask you, Slim. How's your bitch? I seen she wasn't under your wagon this morning. She slang her pups last night, said Slim. 9 of 'em. I drowned 4 of 'em right off. She couldn't feed that many. Got 5 left, huh? Yeah, 5. I kept the biggest. What kind of dogs you think they're gonna be? I don't know, said Slim. Some kind of shepherds, I guess. That's the most kind I seen around here when she was in heat. Carlson went on. Got 5 pups, huh? Gonna keep all of 'em? I don't know. Have to keep 'em a while so they can drink Lulu's milk. Carlson said thoughtfully. Well, look-a-here, Slim. I've been thinking. That dog of Candy's is so goddarn old he can't hardly walk. Stinks like heck, too. Every time he comes into the bunkhouse I can smell him for 2, 3 days. Why don't you get Candy to shoot his old dog and give him one of the pups to raise up? I can smell that dog a mile away. Got no teeth, darn near blind, can't eat. Candy feeds him milk. He can't chew nothing else. George had been staring intently at Slim. Suddenly a triangle began to ring outside, slowly at first, and then faster and faster, until the beat of it disappeared into one ringing sound. It stopped as suddenly as it had started. There she goes, said Carlson. Outside there was a burst of voices as a group of men went by. Slim stood up slowly and with dignity. You guys better come on while there's still something to eat. Won't be nothing left in a couple of minutes. Carlson stepped back to let Slim precede him. Then the 2 of them went out the door. Lenny was watching George excitedly. George rumpled his cards into a messy pile. Yeah, George said. I heard him, Lenny. I'll ask him. A brown and white one, Lenny cried excitedly. Come on, let's get dinner. I don't know whether he got a brown and white one. Lenny didn't move from his bunk. You ask him right away, George, so he won't kill no more of 'em. Sure. Come on now, get up on your feet. Lenny rolled off his bunk and stood up, and the 2 of them started for the door. Just as they reached it, Curly bounced in. Seen a girl around here? He demanded angrily. George said coldly. About half an hour ago, maybe. Well, what the heck was she doing? George stood still, watching the angry little man. He said insultingly, She said she was looking for you. Curly seemed really to see George for the first time. His eyes flashed over George, took in his height, measured his reach, looked at his trim middle. Well, which way'd she go? He demanded at last. I don't know, said George. I didn't watch her go. Curly scowled at him and, turning, hurried at the door. George said, You know, Lenny, I'm scared I'm going to tangle with that jerk myself. I hate his guts. Jesus Christ. Come on, there won't be a darn thing left to eat. They went out the door. The sunshine lay in a thin line under the window. From a distance there could be heard a rattle of dishes. After a moment, the ancient dog walked lamely in through the open door. He gazed about with mild, half-blind eyes. He sniffed, and then lay down and put his head between his paws. Curly popped in the doorway again and stood looking into a room. The dog raised his head, but when Curly jerked out, the grizzled head sank to the floor again.